Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Illini Drive on WPGU 107.1. If you are listening on your radio right now in the car, make sure to be driving carefully. The roads are not great out there. A little bit of this February snow, which is so familiar, coming 2 or 3 days after a beautiful Sunday and Monday. It feels like that Sunday and Monday were the classic days in February that everybody gets, and it's like, oh, here comes spring. Can't wait for 50, 60-degree days, and then just kidding. Here's some snow, bad weather, wind, whatnot, whatever. I'm Nathan Hahn, joined here by Brendyn Jones, no Alex Aguilera.
Wow.
Jake Hasan is on the board today. Alex has got busy with schoolwork, and so Jake is on the board trying his hand out. It's not the first time that he's done it. Maybe the last time?
Literally did it last week. So
yeah, you did do it last week. But
I have a feeling it's not the last time either.
I feel like that too. As the year progressed, especially with Alex taking TV2 this semester, which is what he's cooped up in doing right now. So it could be an issue. But it won't be an issue because Jake's a great producer, and we'll be just fine.
Aggressively mediocre.
But yeah, it's a snowy Wednesday, and there's another Bachelor tonight. So we just found out that Brendyn, how consistently you watch The Bachelor?
Every week. Okay, so it came on this season started the week before winter break, and my brother, I came home one day and I was playing video games, and he's like, "All right, The Bachelor's on. We're about to watch The Bachelor," and I'm like, I've never sat down and watched The Bachelor, whatever, and he's like, "Nah, let me tell you, I just started watching last season and it's really good." So I sat down for that first episode, and it was peak. It's like Nathan said, it's peak dramatic reality TV show television. Yeah. And now this season has been so dramatic and over the top dramatic, but you can't stop watching it now.
All right. So from what I know about The Bachelor and the recent Bachelor is that it's starting to become sort of a platform for people to go on and sort of just self-promote. Mm-hmm. Even so if they win or if they don't win or whatever, they're just providing content of themselves in a way. But this is The Bachelor. So there's Pilot Pete. That's the guy's name.
He's a pilot, so he's
a pilot.
It's corny.
I keep on saying Pistol Pete because you think of the P alliteration. I immediately think of Pete Maravich.
Right.
So catch us up. What's going on? You're telling us that there's an episode tonight on Wednesday because so many things happened in Cleveland that they need to catch up right now.
Well, one, they went to Cleveland. That was the issue. I don't know why you would ever go to Cleveland.
This is for you.
But to start off in Cleveland, there was a girl from the week before who Pete had asked to go home. Her name was Alea because she was causing so much drama and she was talking about people, and he was like, "I want you to go home." Everybody's in Cleveland, and for some reason, definitely because the producers asked her to, she came to Cleveland to confront Peter and try to tell him her side of the story, whatever, the truth, after she had already been sent home. So,
why was she sent home? She was just dramatic and...
Well, she was
the worst.
You watched too?
This was one of the 2 episodes I caught.
Isn't she crazy? She's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was very funny.
Right.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh
here.
really
I can't remember
hard.
exactly what she did, but I think she was just talking about people and she was... No, it was bad. So she knew this girl from before, and they're both on The Bachelor, and you're not supposed to do that, I guess. And she apparently told the girl, "I don't want you to tell anybody that we know each other, whatever." So it looked like she was there for the stuff that you brought up, to promote herself, whatever. She's a pageant girl, promote herself, become famous, whatever. So after she comes to Cleveland to confront Peter asks her to stay because he's soft and he doesn't know what he wants.
He's very soft.
He's so soft and he's corny. But then she comes back and immediately brings drama. Now these girls who are on the show, they can't have access to social media, whatever, So she is home for a week, has social media, has her phone, whatever. When he asked her to come back, she starts spreading stuff that she found out about all the other contestants.
Wait, do they not have their phones?
No, they don't have their phones. They don't
really?
Yeah, because
That's
it's
a big
supposed
commitment.
It is. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be secretive. Nobody wants to know who goes home when or whatever.
Right, sure.
So then as soon as she gets back in the house, she immediately starts doing drama. She doesn't even make it to the next rose ceremony before he tells her to go home.
She's out again.
So she's out again. That's how this Monday's episode started. Then there was another bit of drama, and this girl named Kelsey, she cries all the time.
All right.
Big crier.
It's nothing.
And she was so mad that she didn't get picked for the one-on-one date.
Okay.
Which, it's a hard situation. She's dating 12 people. But Then it started this drama because she started calling everybody in the house fake, whatever, and then this girl named, I'm blanking on her name right now.
I was before you blanked on her name. I was laughing about how much you knew about The Bachelor.
Well, I have the roster.
How many times that we'll have to like Google?
I have the roster pulled up right here.
Like, whatever.
Roster. Starting five.
Well, she tells Peter, she's like, yeah, this girl's fake. This girl drinks too much in the house. Whatever. Just totally snitching. And then, that's like the drama for the whole rest of the episode. And you think, and then it turns around because anytime you snitch, like, it's not going to come back on you because it looks like you're.
Snitches.
Right, exactly.
Incoming.
Looks like you're trying to put somebody else up. Don't snitch. That's just general rule. So then at the rose ceremony, usually they have a cocktail party. It's kind of like that last ditch effort to make your case of why you should stay for another week.
That's when the girls all try to like take the guy aside.
Right.
They do like some dramatic, like, we're soulmates thing.
Right.
Okay.
So
I've seen them.
The snitching came back on her because Kelsey told her that none of that was like true. Like, I'm just like emotional. And like, Peter's like, okay, that's fine. So Peter's like, there's no cocktail party. I've already made my decision. Ooh. Right. So it looks like Tammy's going home. That's the girl, Tammy. Her name's Tammy that snitched. It looks like Tammy's going home.
It's that Lil Wayne line.
Yep. Looks like she's
Blank's
going
gonna
home.
be blank, so I couldn't blame Tammy.
But then right before he starts handing out roses, Tammy, like, he's like, Peter, I need to talk to you. Pleads her case. Another girl pleads her case. And those are the two girls that it looks like they're going home. They don't go home. He like
that was an all-time dramatic pause at the end of the sentence by you. That was incredible.
But the two girls that went home are literally the most unproblematic girls in the show. So it just looks like Peter is just here. And like, maybe he's attracted to the drama, whatever, but he just will not let go of these dramatic people. It looks like, because he was on last season too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not going to call him fake or whatever, but it looks like he's
soft.
He's soft.
What it sounds like to me is that the producers were like, we need to send the girls that aren't causing drama home.
That's
because, in my opinion, I think The Bachelor, Bachelorette is all. I mean, as you talked about reality TV, like, you can't script actually like everything that happens here, but as the producers, you can sort of push, certain buttons and whatnot. I mean, whatever. They're all the producers are the reason everybody's there,
and that's why it's fun. Like, I don't want to see him fall in love. I want to see like people argue and big fights and words and stuff. Like, I don't.
That's not big fights. Like, not only big fights, but also big words.
Big words. I don't really see anybody like fist fight, but I want
what
yelling.
What does big words mean?
Big words is like when people come at you with like words. You got to be like, he was like, man, like they were thinking about that. Like, you got to look it up later.
They've got
like,
big words for those.
They got big words. Come on,
I want to bring my dictionary out.
This sounds like watching the NBA as a Bulls fan. You don't care who wins. Yeah, you don't want anyone to win the title. You just want drama. You just want Ja Morant talking crap to.
You just want to see who punches Jim Boylan in the face first.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. I immediately regretted opening with Bachelor as soon as that started because there went 10 minutes of my life that I won't get back.
Sorry.
And you know what? It's fine. I was behind. I need to be up to date on my pop culture. Speaking of up to date, we're going to get up to date with where Illinois sits at in the Big Ten. We're moving quickly to college basketball. Illinois plays Maryland this Friday night at 7 p.m. Going to be a sweet game. Not only do the first 1,000, is it people in the stadium or students?
I think
in the
it's
stadium?
students.
First
so
1,000 students that get to that game get the nice white Illinois scripted jerseys.
Nice.
Those are the cleanest jerseys Illinois has in their rotation. And yeah, it's definitely worth it to show up early for that. Also, SVP is going to be in the house.
Yeah,
one of my idols. I'm sure that I speak for all of us in this room when you recognize that as one of the GOATs. And so I'm very excited for that. But it's a big game for lots of reasons. I mean, the winner of this game is in sole possession of first in the Big Ten Conference. Yep. If Iowa loses tonight, which I mean, we'll see if the Purdue can get the job done. Right now, they're up 17-4 on Iowa. Then the winner of this Illinois-Maryland game will have a full game lead in the Big Ten. None of this like first place thing that Illinois has been battling back and forth with Michigan State
by a loss
recently.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and then like it's a half game until they play again, and then it's a tie and. You can then make the argument, Michigan State's got the tiebreaker because of Illinois and the game they played earlier in the year. And Illinois-Maryland also played earlier in this year. Illinois is up the entire game, winning at Maryland, looking great the entire time, but unable to get the job done at the very end. They dropped that game 59-58. Iowa struggled. Kofi finally looked human because if you remember, this was the game that opened the Big Ten schedule and that whole non-conference Kofi Coburn, just was taking care of business down low. Alan Griffin only played 5 minutes in that previous game. So just a quick little preview of this. I don't want to get too in-depth on this game because the Tuesday, Thursday crew will have, much more to say, as it'll be only a day away when they preview the game tomorrow. But for us right now, for right now, who needs to play well in this game, and what are you looking for in this rematch of that, early game, the December Classic?
It has to be Io and Kofi. Like, obviously, those are the guys they're the reason you win most often than not, because you need your stars to play, because Maryland has theirs, and Maryland is number 9 for a reason. So you need your best players to come out and play. Like, you can't come out and have Kofi play like he has the last 2 games, because he was ineffective for the last 2 games more often than not, and he was barely there. Like, yeah, Kofi's always going to be present on defense, but you need him scoring points. You need him to be, like, on the glass offensively, too. And, that was weird. And so, Io, like, you need him, too. Like, you can't have Io carrying you for the last 5 minutes because you want that balanced attack. So, you need good Io, like, from wire to wire if you want to win this game.
Okay. You don't only need good Io on the offensive end. You need him on the defensive end. The last time they played, Anthony Cowan Jr. just went insane those last few minutes. It was so frustrating. His size, he's only 6 foot. So, like, the good thing about that is Trent can guard him, DeMonte can guard him, Io can guard him. Whichever guards are in there in the stretch, which I assume will be Io and Trent. But you guys, they have to be able to at least slow him down, because if it wasn't for Cowan Jr. in that last game, they would have won the game. It would have looked, rankings in Big Ten standings would have looked a little different. But I mean, this time it's at home. This time, it's in front of a sold out crowd. They kind of have to get the job done in the end of the second half.
Yeah, Jake, you brought up, I talked about how Io and Kofi struggled in that game. And also, Io needing to be there in the very end of the game. That whole Maryland game, Illinois only scored 19 points in that second half. It wasn't by any means a high-scoring game. Illinois goes into halftime with a 14-point lead, and it just evaporated. And just so painstakingly slowly, and just that struggling offense. I think these are 2 very different Illinois teams, obviously, because, at that time, Illinois is 6-3 or 0-1 in conference, and it's really like a heartbreaking, feels like the floor is falling type of loss. And now you turn around, Illinois, Maryland, both tied atop of the Big Ten, both playing probably some of their best basketball. I don't know about Maryland, because Maryland's kind of a streaky team. Well, they'll win a lot of games, they'll drop 2. They'll win a lot of games, they'll drop 2.
Well, my problem with them is that they were in the top 5 at one point, and they dropped out into the teens, and now they're back. So that kind of scares me as far as, okay, a couple weeks ago, we were saying, maybe Maryland is falling away. They're not really the top 10, top 5 team we thought they were. And now here they come storming back, and they're back inside the top 10 with a chance to really step up atop the Big Ten itself and, like, in the rankings, too. So that scares me. But like you said, this is a vastly different Illinois team, too. Like, they're playing way better. It's not just Kofi and Io, because now Trent's contributing. Kipper Nichols is contributing. DeMonte Williams has been a lock defensively. Feliz was really one of the only offensive bright spots in that first Maryland game too. Yep. So now he's more in that comfortable bench role again. And it's going to be interesting. Now you have Alan Griffin too as a regular contributor. So definitely 2 very different teams, but it doesn't make Maryland any less scary to me.
You talk about contributors, but I also wanted to get back to the point that you made earlier about your best players playing well, because in this game, Illinois had sort of a balanced contribution, 13 points from Trent, 11 from Feliz, 9 from Kofi and Io. Foul trouble played a part in why Kofi Coburn only plays 21 minutes. Georgie also had 4 fouls by the end of the game. So, some of those minutes and scoring opportunities may be taken away, but then you look at the key players for Maryland, and Anthony Cowan Jr. has 20. Jalen Smith has 14. Those are the 2, people that you expect to lead Maryland in scoring night in and night out, and there they got their job done. Morcell had 10, and that was, how, in these games, that, against ranked opponents and in big scenes, and with a chance to go atop the conference, potentially by a full game, you need your best players to play their best. And obviously this at the time wasn't a big game in this sense, but also was opening conference play. And you would expect better from Io and Kofi Coburn and guys of that alike. Little quick know your enemy about Maryland, just in case you forgot about them. And in case we haven't jogged your memory with some of the stuff that we've brought up. Anthony Cowan Jr., he's an NBA prospect. He's averaging 16.3 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and he's a good defender. He gets a steal a game. Call this crazy if you want. I kind of feel like it's like a Chris Likes comparison to what, Miami's, really shifty guard, speedy guy was able to do to Illinois. It felt like that's also what Anthony Cowan Jr. did. If you remember Nico Mannion from the beginning of the year too, that's kind of like what it felt like, what Anthony Cowan Jr. did. And Chris Likes obviously did on Illinois' home court. So you're going to need to try to slow him down, keep him in front of you. And he's really, he's special. They also got a great big man in Jalen Smith. He averages 15.2 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, and he can stretch the floor. He shoots over 30% from three. Not something that you see a lot from a big man, especially a big man that plays primarily with four other guards around him. And you saw how Illinois struggled with Garza, who was similar, kind of a stretch for big man that can step outside if he really needs to. Garza is a much better shooter than Jalen Smith is. But don't be surprised when Jalen Smith, when Kofi or Georgie will give him that shot from mid-range, and Jalen Smith will be happy to take it because free throw line and even a little bit further out than that are still very much in his range. But let's just jump right to score predictions for this game. I know, it's still a little bit of time, but that's how we do it on the show. I'll go ahead and start. I think that this game is a little bit more high scoring than the last game. Obviously, neither team touched 60 in that game. I think both teams' offenses are playing a little bit better right now. So I'm going to have Illinois winning this game 67-63.
If you have one ready, I'm still.
Yeah, I think I can do it. I agree with you. I think it'll be a little more high scoring. I'm saying probably around. It'll be close, and I think it'll come down to either some Iowa heroics or maybe somebody else will step up. But I think it'll be like 68-70.
Okay. Illinois gets a W?
Yeah,
okay.
Illinois gets a W.
I don't know. This game just scares me. But I do, and I wasn't here on Monday to say this, but I think actually losing to Iowa and the way you did was good for this team as far as like streaks have to end.
Yeah.
And you had this tough stretch with Maryland and Michigan State coming up. It was a good like reset. You know what I mean? So, okay, I'm channeling my inner Alex sitting in this chair.
You feeling the pessimism?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. It's like warping my thought process right now.
Letting the hate flow through.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, all right, Pack State Farm Center coming off that loss. Students getting those really nice jerseys, which means they're going to wear those jerseys for sure tomorrow. I'm going to go Illinois 72, Maryland 65.
Okay.
Right in Scott Van Pelt's face.
You have the as much as you wanted to be the pessimist in that chair, you have the highest scoring differential right there. So, a few other things I wanted to touch on just before we get off of college basketball, because as we're talking about the Big Ten, I want to ask you guys the question: is Penn State legit? Are they legit? Because obviously they knock off Michigan State in East Lansing last night in a big game. Obviously that makes the Illinois Maryland game more significant. But outside of Lamar Stevens, I still think Penn State, kind of just did a built roster that doesn't shoot free throws all that great, and I just don't think that they're really a competitor.
It depends what you mean as legit. Do you mean somebody?
Are they a Big Ten title contender? Could they win the regular season Big Ten?
They're the scary team that nobody wants to face.
Okay.
But if I had to pick right now, I would still pick Michigan State over them. Mm-hmm. If they saw them again,
yeah.
I would pick Iowa over them. I would pick us over them. But that being said, you don't want to see Lamar Stevens. You saw what Lamar Stevens did last year against Illinois. I don't think anybody wants to see them right now. They're hot. They're doing really well. But yeah, I don't. As far as being contenders, yes. As far as being favorites, probably not.
Jake, you think Penn State's legit?
I think Lamar Stevens is.
And is that where it lies?
I think so. Like, I think they're a decent team, and they just, how well they do or don't do just goes with how well he's playing.
So, and that brings me to my next question of who else is competing for the Big Ten title? And I'll run through the Big Ten standings real quick right now. Illinois, Maryland, both at 8-3 atop the conference and play on Friday. Michigan State at 8-4 is half game back. Then there's Penn State, Iowa, both a full game back of Illinois and Maryland. Rutgers about a game and a half back. And then, you have Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio State, Purdue, Minnesota, Michigan, Nebraska, Northwestern, all the way down. I'll be honest. I think Maryland, I think Illinois, I think Michigan State, and I think Iowa. Because I don't really buy the Rutgers hype. I know that they're better, and I know that I can't get out of my head that they're Rutgers. But but I have to put respect on the fact that we have to go to the RAC later this year, and nobody has won there yet. And I don't think Penn State can win the Big Ten. So in my bubble, I have Illinois, Maryland, Michigan State, and Iowa. And then from the long shots, I mean, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio State, or Purdue. Those guys. I mean, I think the allure of Wisconsin is gone. Ohio State might not really be all that good. So I don't know. Do you guys hate, love, disagree, agree?
No, I think I agree. I think.
Would you put anybody else in there?
No, but I would also. I mean, there's the whole, like I said before, the teams that are scared that you don't want to face because it is single elimination. Teams can get hot in the wrong time, for Illinois. So like Penn State, I wouldn't want to face them. Rutgers, as you said. Wisconsin, I probably wouldn't want to face them. Just because these are teams that have been there before and they have that experience, and that's what Illinois really lacks. There hasn't been a team for years that's been this good. There hasn't been a team that, we're thinking about is a chance to win the Big Ten title. So you don't want to face a team, that's going to be scary.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think you want to face anybody outside of maybe Northwestern and Nebraska at this point. Like the Big Ten's so weird.
Right.
Like I'm not even comfortable saying like, oh, you'd want to play Michigan at this point because even though they're backsliding hard, that's still a talented team. Like, oh, you could want to play Minnesota at this point. No, you don't, because they still have Oturu and a lot of really good players. So it's scary. The Big Ten is scary.
All right. So final thing before we take our first break, I'm going to go through teams based off winning percentage like throughout the whole season. I want you to tell me if you think they make the tournament at the end of the year. All right. And I want to find out where we draw that line. Obviously, Northwestern's a no. Nebraska's a no. Next is the 11-10 Minnesota Golden Gophers. They're 5-6 in the conference.
I'd say no.
No.
Unless they make a run. And
Right.
12-10 Purdue, 5-6 in the conference.
Depending on how the rest of their schedule shakes out, but
Sure.
as of right now, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I would agree.
Next is the 13-9 Michigan Wolverines, 4-7 in the conference. And I think this is where it gets
This is
weird.
where it gets hard. One, because it's Michigan, and having them in the tournament is kind of big because of their fan base. Two,
They've only got one ranked opponent left on their schedule, and that's Michigan State. This
right,
year.
and that's a big. Anything can happen in that game. So if they finish strong, I mean,
and then they close at Maryland. But.
And they have even if they only end with 11 wins, 11 losses, that's still you could put them in there.
Exactly. And then it goes to Purdue, who's 12-10, 5-6. I think that's where I start saying yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Purdue's in right now, just because of they beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
So they have some really good wins.
Wisconsin's 13-9. They're 6-5 in the Big Ten. I feel like they kind of always get a nod from the committee because they know that they're a really tough, well-built team. And then everybody else after that, everybody after that has 14 or more wins, 15 or more wins, on the season. And some of those teams have losing records in the conference. Crazy tough conference. People at the beginning of the year, though, were talking about 11 teams of the Big Ten, and I don't think that's the case.
I
don't think
probably
it's
7 or 8.
I don't think it's crazy to say 9. I mean, right there, we ruled out Northwestern, Nebraska, and probably Minnesota. There's where the 11 teams comes in. Let's say Michigan and Purdue both don't make it. Every other one of the teams in the Big Ten has 15 or more wins.
I think Ohio State's still on the fence.
Yeah,
just because of how up and down they've been.
That's true. But crazy that Illinois has 9 teams right now with 15 or more wins, and there's still not half the Big Ten schedule left, but close to it.
A decent amount.
It's just crazy that they're in this. Last year it wouldn't have been plausible for us to say Illinois is going to be the best team in the best conference next year. I don't think it would have been.
This year it's plausible.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Well, Friday's going to tell us a lot.
Friday will tell us a lot. So make sure to go online, go to fightingillini.com and buy some of those tickets. We appreciate them sponsoring the show. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the big trade that the Red Sox made last night. And if it's all that bad for the Red Sox or if people are just overreacting. So stick with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Illini Drive on WPGU 107.1. A reminder that Illini Drive is brought to you by the University of Illinois Division of Intercollegiate Athletics, fightingillini.com. Make sure to get on there. Buy some tickets for the Maryland game. Buy some tickets for the Michigan State game. Oh, wait. We got sold out games, baby.
Nailed it.
Not to tease like that, but head on there, see what tickets are still available for. I don't know if, I think Indiana's sold out.
There's like 4 games now sold out.
Yeah.
Indiana was the first one, too.
Yeah, and like, well, it's such a big rivalry. Yeah, I wrote a little story about that. And that was like a month in advance.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, I mean, Nebraska still has seats. And is Iowa sold out at the very end of the year? Or no?
I'm sure it will be after this Maryland game.
Whatever it is, tickets are going fast. And if it's not just men's basketball, I mean, check out the women's basketball team. Check out, the gymnastics teams or all the other winter sports that are going on right now. You can find those tickets on fightingillini.com. Unify, develop, inspire, and achieve. So baseball happened last night.
It did, yes.
Red Sox make a huge trade, sending Mookie Betts and David Price, as well as some cash considerations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. In return, Jake, they got...
The Red Sox?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Alex Verdugo and a pitcher pretty much from the Twins.
And then Maeda goes to the Twins as part of that.
So it was super weird because it was like a break. So we got an update at like, I want to say it was like 8-ish p.m. Central Time. And it said from Ken Rosenthal that, there's some serious momentum like between the Red Sox and the Dodgers. It looks like it's going to happen within the next 24 hours. And then about 20 minutes later, it was reported complete. It's happening. Don't know the details, but Mookie Betts is going to the Dodgers. And then like 5 minutes, not even 2 minutes later, David Price is a part of this deal. Okay, now there's a third team involved. And then we had Rosenthal saying that it was the Angels, and we had Passan saying it was the Twins. So that was really confusing. And then the prospect kind of details came out. Verdugo was once a top prospect in baseball.
Kind of a utility guy in the Dodgers, wasn't he?
He's an outfielder. Last year was his first full year, and he was worth 2 wins. So that's really decent in your rookie year. And then the pitcher they got has a high ceiling, and we'll see what happens with that. But it really was like a 4-team trade because the Dodgers and Angels did have a deal. Jack Peterson's going to the Angels along with Ross Stripling, who was an all-star. Both were all-stars in the last 2 years. And it's just really weird, but at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Dodgers now employ last year's NL MVP and the AL MVP from 2018. So that seems pretty good.
A lot of people are blowing up online saying that the Red Sox are crazy for this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I know in my limited understanding of baseball front offices and also, how to really value trades. Because I was talking with friends last night about, if the Cubs traded for Mookie Betts and they traded Chris Bryant and whatever, and then they all laughed at me because of the things that I was saying was just ridiculous, and I don't understand how baseball trades work. The Red Sox essentially send themselves way below the cap line, which benefits obviously them being able to address other things and sort of do a little rebuild. Is that the idea, or just break down how either good or bad you actually see this deal being for the Red Sox?
So everyone's ripping the Red Sox apart just because, you traded your superstar player. And to be fair, like the Red Sox have a good roster around outside of Mookie Betts too. Like they could have been a competing team. Were you catching the Yankees? Probably not. But you still could have been in a wild card, and then who knows what happens. Now this move puts them definitely below Tampa Bay in my eyes in the division too. But the Red Sox had to do this. You had one more year of Mookie Betts, and he wanted to leave anyway because he's been saying for about 2 years that I want to test free agency. I want to see what else is out there, what I can get. I'm not going to sign an extension, and there's no guarantee even once I get to free agency, I will re-sign with you guys.
So, you a Scott Boras guy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It doesn't seem like one.
But and if you wait till the deadline, if you're the Red Sox, look what happened to Manny Machado and the Orioles. Like the Orioles held him for half a season and then traded him at the deadline. So the Dodgers, who traded for him, only got a few months of time. And at the time of that trade, everyone was like, "Oh well, the Orioles are getting 6 prospects back." And then when it was announced, it was, "Oh, okay, they're getting 2 prospects and like 4 dudes, pretty much." Like it wasn't much. So this was better for the Red Sox. And the way the luxury tax works is they wanted to get below it so badly because they were getting penalized for being above it in the last few years. So that's not just money, that's also draft picks and your international signing money. So this resets everything for them, which to me means they're just going to go crazy in the next couple free agency periods, because next year you have George Springer, JT Realmuto, possibly guys like Anthony Rizzo and guys of that nature, depending on how team club options go, so on and so forth. And we'll see what happens with that, because now they can be that big spender again, and they can go out and get these premier guys if they want to and get back to that success, because they still have Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Chris Sale, Eduardo Rodriguez, who are still really good players. And they could, it's like a mini rebuild.
Are the Dodgers doing too much?
No.
With the whole thing with, Machado 2 years ago, and then just the moves that they make, it feels like that they don't have. It feels like they throw caution to the wind and they say, "Get me big name players here now."
It's different than 2012 when they got Adrian Gonzalez and Carl Crawford and were like, "These are big names. We'll see if they can help us." And those guys immediately declined as soon as they got to LA. Like, they didn't do anything really. Josh Beckett was part of that deal too. Like, this is Mookie Betts. This is a guy who won an MVP award. This is a guy who is
very recently.
Yes, this is a guy who is the second best player in baseball by all means, like by WAR, by whatever stat you want to use. So, LA, and after their exit last year to the Nationals, who obviously went on to win the World Series, and then losing 2 straight World Series, like, the Dodgers are desperate, and they
buy now,
right. And so, if you don't care about the taxes and you don't care about the money, might as well. And worst comes to worst, it's for a year. Right. And and David Price isn't just a throw in here. Like, David Price can be their number 3 starter. Like, he's not gonna dominate for you. Like, it
just feels like he's declining, and he's getting 90 million plus.
But as a number 3 starter, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you're not expecting that much from him, and the Red Sox are still paying some of that money. The Dodgers are paying most of it, but the Red Sox are paying some of it.
The Angels got better.
Yes,
they had Jock Peterson.
It's a great lineup.
They still can't pitch. Do you think they will be, in that mix in the AL West? I mean, especially with the Astros sort of having this.
Well, okay, let's not act like the Astros aren't going to be a contending team.
Sure.
Like,
no,
all of those guys are still really good.
Sure.
But
under new management.
But the thing is,
few less eyes.
The A's are still really good too. So
yeah, and the Rangers are on the up and up.
The ceiling for the Angels is wild card, because they're probably not going to win the division, but they have that ceiling of a wild card team. But realistically, they're the 3rd best team in the division, and they're fighting with the Rays and the Indians and the
White Sox,
possibly, and whoever else you want to throw in there for that second wild card, which isn't fun because those are good teams. But they did get better, and getting Ross Stripling, who is an all-star, that helps your pitching staff a lot. I don't hate a rotation of Stripling, Shohei Ohtani, Andrew Heaney, Dylan Bundy, and Julio Teheran. Like, you could do worse.
Yeah.
And even if they don't pitch great, that lineup is going to hit 1 million home runs, drive in 1 billion runs.
Hey, Jake.
Hey.
Your baseball knowledge amazes me.
Why?
It really does. I'm sitting here trying to
name the Angels starting five.
Right, for real.
With no issues. Barely skipped a beat. Adding the person that they just added. We're gonna get more into Cubs cards next week, because pitchers and catchers report next week. And we'll have time to sort of talk about the local teams or whatever. But I did want to touch on recent news that on the back of the allegations and then now confirmed cheating that the Astros did, Pete Rose chimes in, and he wants back in the Hall of Fame consideration. Open discussion, and then we'll take our second break.
A 20-page appeal.
Does he deserve to hop back in the Hall of Fame consideration, considering that none of these players who now have knowingly cheated in what some would say more harming ways than the way that Pete Rose did, not only are they not getting lifetime bans, but they're not even getting suspensions? Do you see some sort of Pete Rose asking this to be a two-way street?
Right. I get his point. I don't think it'll work,
right?
Because Manfred does not want any more drama. I think if he had waited like a year, I think if he waited like until next winter to do this, I think it would have worked possibly better, just because baseball is still reeling from this. But 20 pages from Pete Rose is just a bananas number for him to be like, please. I imagine it just says please for 20 pages.
That's at least 5 pages.
I don't get it, but
I think Pete Rose is also the type of dude to have 20-point font periods. and double space and
wild
just,
margins.
Just make it as big as possible. Should Pete Rose be a Hall of Famer?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
The little part of everybody, it goes
right.
I think
he was just that good as a player.
Yeah. I think if Pete Rose played today and he did the same things that he did, and it was in the era of social media that everybody could chime in and have their voice, and baseball could have this, overwhelming social media presence of people yelling at them did you not see how good he was, yada yada yada, that he would be, and he wouldn't have this big of an issue. It's just the issue is a lot of these strong voices saw the very end of Pete Rose's career, or there's us that didn't really get to see it at all, other than some grainy YouTube clips or whatnot. But yeah, if you're excited for baseball, if you're sad that football's over and that's the next thing that you're rooting for, as I know our friend Jake Hasan is, pitchers and catchers report next week. Cactus League, Florida League, all that good stuff. So should be a lot of fun. Speaking of having fun, we're going to have a little bit of fun in our last segment on the show. When we come back, we are going to rank our top 5 favorite campus restaurants. Kind of keep with the system of doing top 5s here this semester, and just having some fun in the very end of the show. So make sure to stick around for that, and we will be right back. And welcome back to WPGU 1071 Illini Drive. A reminder that Illini Drive is brought to you by the University of Illinois Division of Intercollegiate Athletics. I wanted to read you this read because I've remembered today I'm wearing my Redbox Bowl socks that I was gifted. These are the most ridiculous article of clothing I have, but yes, Redbox Bowl with little red boxes on the socks. So I wanted to say, go to fightingillini.com and get next year's season tickets for the Illinois football team. They added a few new people to the coaching staff. The recruiting class is sort of filling out. That's a whole nother topic. Whole nother conversation we can have. I'm gonna let I am not as up to date on Illinois football recruiting as I am on Illinois basketball recruiting.
Currently,
check out
85th.com
for my Illinois basketball recruiting article. Woo woo. Thank you. All right, top 5s. Top 5 campus restaurants. I'll start on this one because I didn't start on the last one. I let Brendyn and Alex go around on theirs. First, I want to give a shout out. Shout out Soul Taco. Went out of business. No longer there. Absolute gas burritos. And it was just like a nice change of pace because there's the plenty Tex-Mex Mexican places that are on campus, and some are on my list, but. I just want to give a shout out then because it was just something different and it was cool, and I wish it could have stuck around. So top 5, I don't have them in any order. If you guys want to do them in no order or have an order, you guys can do whatever. I'm kind of just going to blaze through these. I got Noodles and Company on there because the penne rosa with Parmesan crusted chicken is one of my favorite meals I can get anywhere. I got Sushi Ichiban on there because they've got great lunch and dinner sushi options. And it's not, and I'll be honest, it's not the best quality sushi, but we're talking about campus restaurants, and what does college campuses have but college students who don't have all the kind of money to throw at, big sushi or whatever. Big sushi, I say like they're big pharma.
Down with big sushi.
Stand up for small sushi, stand up for Sushi Ichiban, and their phenomenal lunch deals. They got 2 rolls and 3 rolls for affordable prices, and they always got good service there too. I got Chipotle and Maze on my list here. Chipotle, it's got an empire of its own. It's got everything and whatnot. And does this still do with queso? Do they still offer that? Or did that fizzle out?
I don't know, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. If you want a queso, go to Pancheros, but that's off campus. My other one, I got Maze on there because that's Champagne Zone. That's a phenomenal Mexican restaurant right there. And now with the new location of Cam's, Maze agreeing to stay open for about 30 minutes to an hour later to provide drunk food for those students leaving there at 2 in the morning, whenever it is. And I'm kind of nervous about that because that restaurant is not big.
It's not.
No.
Like there's 10 seats in there maybe to begin with, especially with it being cold right now. Just a bunch of unruly college kids being in until 3 in the morning is wild. And rounding out my whole thing is Joe's Brewery burgers. Half price burgers on Thursdays and Saturdays. Check them out. They are phenomenal. I think they have the best fries I've had at almost any restaurant I think I've ever been to. I love Joe's fries. And so if you're not feeling the burger, you can get the loaded fries. So that's my top 5: noodles, Chipotle, Maze, Sushi Ichiban, and Joe's.
Interesting. Would you like to go, Brendyn?
I'll go.
Okay.
So in agreement. Is that a word? I said that yesterday.
Agreement?
Yeah,
Is that a word?
I think so.
Okay, sure. I'm gonna say it. In agreement.
I'm almost positive.
I have to put Chipotle up there.
Yeah.
It's been with us for a while. No matter where we came from, so it's always there.
No matter where we came from.
Potbelly I love Potbelly. I used to love Subway, and then I had Potbelly for the first time, and I'm like, Subway's trash.
Do you get Potbelly shakes?
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
I got it the
have
first
to.
time because I heard like all these great things. I just think it's not worth it.
I mean, it's just a shake.
Not worth it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not necessary.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't get it all the time, but I do like them a lot. Cracked is a really good spot. I love their breakfast.
They just opened a new location in Wicker Park.
Yeah, I saw that when I was
huge.
home. Yeah,
Huge.
Then there's this Korean restaurant that I went to for the first time last week called Jitbap, which is
Jitbap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ took me there. My friend, it was just fire. And then
It's a lot of food.
it is.
Chip is so
Really?
much food.
It is.
I can't finish like a bowl in one sitting.
Yeah, no, it was surprising like how
you're
much
starving.
food was actually in the little bowl. But round out my top 5, it's always there for us when we need it. It's McDonald's on Green.
I love you like bring up like McDonald's on Green because it's a different breed
No,
of
it's
McDonald's,
different.
and it definitely
McDonald's anywhere else is not McDonald's on Green. Sometimes they have music playing. There's always the culture there. We love it. It's helped me through a lot of nights.
You said there's a culture there.
It is. There is a culture.
was
there.
getting DJ,
I agree with you.
Right,
Art-
exactly.
I agree
It's
with you.
crazy. That's one of the best McDonald's I've ever been to. Shout out McDonald's on Green.
Shout out.
All right. So unlike you buffoons, I don't have any chains on my list because
That's fair.
I'm a food savant. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I just
Wow.
A higher and upper
Big guy.
tier of taste
I have more
buds.
refined palate, if you will.
Jeez. Jeez.
Oh man. Okay, so number 1, I have Jurassic Grill. Just absolutely flames. Number 2, I have Manolo's, the empanada and pizza place.
Never been.
In
How about
Urbana.
that?
It's really good.
What's an empanada?
Highly-
And what's a comparison food comp of an empanada?
A smaller calzone, I guess.
Yeah, but with more stuff. Kind of like a dumpling.
Yeah, either
It's
like,
like a large dumpling.
No,
no,
it's
they're like
like this.
they're decent size. Like
handheld size. You can hold it in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, either you could call it like a crunchier ravioli, maybe.
That place is always freaked me out though because it's like empanadas and pizza, right?
Yeah.
And it just
Both are good though.
But it just feels like two
Both are
different.
really
I don't know.
good.
There's like they're batting in two different categories.
Highly recommend getting the empanadas fresh because it's so worth it to wait like the 10 minutes.
All right.
And it's like you could get like 6 for $3 or something.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
All right.
Cracked ahead on there. Brendyn nailed it. 4, I have Marianne's. Just so great,
Yeah,
especially like I've used it, especially like studying, and it's like 2 or 3, and you're like, all right, like
Breakfast
food, yeah, breakfast time. So I have Marianne's, and they're actually like pretty good. 5, I have Chopsticks. Love that place.
Interesting.
True.
Love that
Interesting.
place.
Top 6 is fire.
I mean,
Okay.
I got like,
is Chopsticks top 5?
No, but
I mean,
it's
for
fire,
me
though.
personally, because I just
Okay, I
love
respect
Chinese
your
food. It's
decision to
fire.
do no chains. I respect.
and it's also just like I spent $8 for a chicken fried rice and 2 crab rangoons. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty decent. And then honorable mention because filling in for Cracked because it was used already. Miyaza's.
Yeah, underrated, super underrated.
Yep.
Build your own pasta. Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
great.
Every
Everything
restaurant
there.
should
Their
have build
pizza
your
and
own.
sandwiches are good too.
I
It's all
just-
pretty good.
I love build your own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially with pasta because like it not expensive at all for you to just be like, oh, like I can make any sort of dish
yeah.
that I want here.
True.
So yeah, that's Jake. Great job. Brendyn, you included restaurants that I had completely forgotten about. Potbelly, bro, great pick.
That's my one. I wish Champaign had like a deli. I guess like an actual sandwich shop. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
no.
sandwiches.
I like sandwiches a lot.
Investors, possibly you.
That's
Rosati's has a good meatball sub.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you guys so much for paying attention. Make sure to tune into the Thursday show.
Thanks for paying attention to us.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, thanks for listening. I think this is a more natural way of saying things. Make sure to tune in Tuesday, Thursday show as they'll be breaking down more of Illinois, Maryland, and bouncing all around the sports world. So thank you very much, Jake, for filling in for Alex on the board. For Jake, Brendyn, and myself, thank you for listening. Jake, hit the music.
You got it.